Good morning and welcome back to my channel by Hook or by Needles. My name is Sam and today I am going to show you how to create this stitch. It is called the Eyelet mock cable ribbing. Bit of a mouthful. It is called a mock cable because of this stitch here. It looks as if you have carried that stitch over and thus looks like a cable. It looks like it's running up and over and under and up and over, like it's snaking up and down, when in fact there's no cable there. It is just a past slip stitch. The other thing you need to note is the eyelet, and that's why it's called the eyelet. So it's eyelet mock cable ribbing. I like this pattern. I think this is one of the first scarf patterns I actually learned to do, although I did it slightly different. You will see on the reverse side it is very different. You got knit panels of knitting, and you can't really see the mock cable at all. Nevertheless, I think it was one of the first scarves I ever made was with this pattern. It is a multiple of 5 plus 2, so I have 17 stitches here. I'm doing 3 repeats plus the 2, and it is a 4-row repeat. Although it says mock cable, so you think you have to use a cable needle. No, that's the mock part. So let's get started. And let's see if I can do it right this time, because this is my second time doing it. Yeah, I probably shouldn't destroy the magic, shouldn't I, that happens behind scenes. Yeah, I wish. Okay, let's have a look at our first row. Our first row is just straight in there, full on. Oh, and I keep hitting the camera, and I apologize. I have not got the positioning for my camera right for my knitting tutorials. I think I need to go back to using my circular needles so that I don't have the end sticking out and constantly hitting the table, which causes me to bump the camera. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe in the next tutorials I won't use these long, because they are just getting in my way. So anyway, back to the point. We purl our first 2 stitches, and here is our repeat. We're going to put our yarn backwards, because the next stitch that we're going to do is going to be a knit stitch. If we don't put our yarn back, if we don't put our yarn back and we do our next stitch as a knit, we're going to create a yarn over, and we don't want to create a yarn over. So we just put that yarn to the back. Now the next stitch is our slip stitch. To slip a stitch, you can slip a stitch purlwise, or you can slip a stitch knitwise. In this instance, I'm going to slip it knitwise because I think it looks better. I mean, you could do it purlwise. It doesn't specify in the pattern, so I think it's just really one of those preferences as to whether you do it knitwise or purlwise. I think in the end, it's all going to come out. I'm picking up another needle. No, I only need 2. That's enough for anybody. Okay, so I've slipped that stitch. Though I haven't worked it at all. Then I've got to knit 2. The ticker tells me I've got to knit 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then it tells me I've got to pass my slip stitch over. Now I know I've got to pass it over both stitches, because if it wanted me just to pass over 1 stitch, well then it would only have asked me to knit 1 stitch, and it's asked me to knit 2, so therefore it wants me to pick up this slip stitch and pass it over those 2. Effectively, I am decreasing a stitch. So although the pattern didn't actually say, I will tell you this, the stitch count at the end of row 1 will be off by however many repeats you've done. I've got 3 repeats, so I will have 3 less stitches at the end of my row than I did at the beginning, because I'm literally decreasing 1 each time I do the repeat. Okay, so then we bring our yarn forward to do our purl 2. So we're going to purl 2, bring our yarn to the back again. We're going to slip the stitch. I'm going to do it knitwise. As long as you're consistent, it doesn't matter whether you do it knitwise or purlwise. Just try and remain consistent so that the look is consistent. Then I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches. And once again, I'm going to PSSO. Sounds a bit rude, but you know, it sounds like you're telling someone to go away in a very unfriendly manner, but no. It is passing the slip stitch over. And it never specifies, well, it doesn't, I say never, but most often will not specify how many stitches you're passing it over. You are just passing it over the number of stitches, you know, however many number of stitches you have done prior to the PSSO. And, you know, so between, yeah, so you pick up your slip stitch and you pass it over. If it's 1 stitch, 2 stitch, or 3 stitch, it doesn't really matter. That's what you're doing. Okay, so we purl 2 again. Now these panels, you can do these as stockinette, because as you can see on the reverse side, there is knit stitches. You could do the panels as garter. You could knit these to every row if you wished, but I'm going to stick with what the pattern says. So we're at our last repeat. So last chance to see our slip 1, knit 2, and then pass our slip stitch over, just like that. And then we're going to purl 2. Okay, and that's the end of that row repeat. And as you say, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stitches. I started with 17. This has been decreased. When you pass it over and drop it off, you're effectively decreasing it. So let's turn our work. In the next row, we actually do gain it back again. And here's how we gain it back. This is the wrong side. And we are going to knit 2. We are going to purl 1. Then it says YRN. That means yarn round needle. Now sometimes patterns will just write YO, yarn over needle, but they are assuming that you know purled, you actually need to go around the whole needle because you're making an increase. I get frustrated when they don't use the correct terminology. YRN is the terminology in this instance, so that's good. So go yarn around the needle. See, I'm creating a new stitch. If I was just to purl that next stitch, I wouldn't get any increase. So the whole created an extra stitch, which replaces the one we just lost. And then I purl 1, and then you knit 2. Then I purl 1, yarn around the needle, and purl the next one. And then I knit 2. Come to the front, I purl 1, yarn around needle, purl the next stitch to the back, and I'll knit the last 2. And now if I count my stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. I'm back to my original count. Okay, so on to the next 2 rows. The next 2 rows are set up in this row, and that is purl 2. It's so awkward to purl that first stitch. Purl 2, and that's my cat. If you can hear them, I am very, very sorry. You are such a noisy little cat, you really are. We're going to knit 3. Okay, so we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to purl 2. 1, 2. We are going to knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to purl 2. 1, 2, and knit 3. No patterning, no passing slip stitches over or anything like that. We are just doing a 3x2 rib. So we turn our work, and this next row is just knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. We want to keep it just the same as it was. So although we ended up with purl 2, we're going to start with knit 2, purl 3, knit 2, purl 3, knit 2, purl 3. And that's how we're going to work the 4th row and the last row of our repeat. So rather than watch me do that, I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to come back when I'm at the stage of slipping the stitch for the mock cable and just working over that again, and then I'll quickly work over the no, I'll just work over that piece again, I think. So I'm going to return to row 1 and just work through row 1 again, just to show you that slipping over of that stitch. So I'll be right back. So here we are again. I'm just going to run through row 1 quickly once more. So we start off with purl 2. I really need to go back to my cables. Purl 2, put a yarn to the back. We're going to slip this stitch. I'm going to slip it knitwise, and then I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches. Then I'm going to come back to the first of those 3 that was slipped, and I'm going to pull it over those 2. Okay, and now you can see we'll get the eyelets, and you get the cable, and how you get the cable look. Okay, so if you want to do more of that, just rewind. You can slow down the video, you can speed up the video, you can, do it at whatever pace you're comfortable with. Well, that's it for today and for now. Please remember a thumbie, a subscribe, a share if you think there's someone in your life who needs to learn how to do this stitch. I certainly love it. I think it's worthwhile passing on. Until next time, take care and bye for now.